Hi, gang. Jeff McAleer here, host of the Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I just happen to be the grand poobah of. And today I'm doing something a little bit different because I'm on a brief hiatus from July 4th through the 8th. And I didn't want to just leave people hanging without any game news and, unboxings and reviews and things like that until I come back, because I'm actually camping. As you're watching this, I'm actually camping, as long as you're watching this on the first few days it's out. But what I wanted to do today is I want to take a look into Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory Blessings Unheralded. This was the free RPG day release from Ulysses North America this year. And it is also the quick start rules as well as sample adventure for the Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory role-playing game, which a lot of people are really looking forward to, and it is releasing at Gen Con in early August. Do want to mention that unlike most free RPG day releases, there's actually an MSRP that's being shown on the back here of $9.99. I do not know if this will be available for purchase physically after it was already given out back in mid-June, but I do know about a day or two ago it did pop up in PDF on DriveThru RPG. It does carry an MSRP of $4.99, but stay tuned because through the month of July there's going to be a link I'm going to give you that will allow you to get this in PDF absolutely free. As mentioned, Wrath and Glory Blessings Unheralded is from Ulysses North America. It is written by John Dunn, Wendell Reichel, Stephen Rhodes, and Ross Watson. I do want to point out that I did actually interview the latter three of that quartet at Origin Game Fair, and of course you can check out my interview on the Gaming Gang channel. There's artwork provided by Alberto Bontempi and the Games Workshop Studio. As I previously mentioned, this was released for Free RPG Day 2018. So let's move on over to the other camera here, because I have really been looking forward to diving into this because this looks pretty cool. And I had been pointing out when I was doing some highlights, some upcoming releases that were for Free RPG Day, I did mention that this looked like this was more substantial than what we normally will see from companies for Free RPG Day. A lot of times we'll see about a 12 or 16 page adventure from a lot of companies. I was guessing this was clocking in at about 40 pages. My understanding, it's actually more than that. So I did kind of slit this a little bit so we'd be able to jump on into this pretty quickly. So let's see what we've got. So I do understand, I believe the back of the cover is like a battle map. And sure enough, it is. It is a battle map. Just the 2 pages, just like that. So we've got, here's the booklet here. So we show, we've got the credits. It's the 41st millennium. Now, I do want to point out, if you are familiar with the 8th edition of Warhammer 40K, this game does take place in that setting. So pretty cool. I have kind of peeked at 8th edition a little bit, and I have to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I think it's a pretty cool setting. I like what Games Workshop has done. They actually did change some things up as far as the setting. They really did really kind of roll the dice on this one. So we've got the quick start rules talking about the core mechanic, and just like the miniatures game, the role-playing game does focus on 6-sided dice. I believe those are the only dice you will use for the role-playing game are 6-sided dice. So talking about what you need to play, at least 10 6-sided dice, and pen and paper, I should say pencil and paper, tokens, beads, or poker chips, and then talking about the rules. So we've got the core mechanic here. So it looks like we've got dice pool, bonus dice, difficulty number. So kind of standard fare for some of the releases from Ulysses North America, say like Torg. Torg uses a difficulty number as far as that system. This is This is a unique system. This is not something that's being rehashed from something else. So talking about difficulty numbers, bonuses and penalties, the Wrath dice shifting, Wrath and trivial tests. It's pretty cool artwork here. Wrath points, spending Wrath, gaining Wrath, objectives, glory, gaining glory, using glory, starting and maximum ruin. Okay, that's not something I'm familiar with. Talking about keywords, I do understand from the interview at Origins Game Fair that if you are solely familiar with 8th edition miniatures rules, that they did use a lot of keywords that are utilized in those rules to make it easier for those gamers to pick up, but you don't have to have a lot of knowledge about Warhammer 40K to get started and jump into Wrath and Glory. So it's talking about attributes and skills, tech, initiative, mobs. Oh, there's pretty cool artwork here. That's pretty cool. Like that. Combining attacks, splitting attacks for mobs, actions in combat, movement actions, combat options, melee attacks, ranged attacks. That's more, looks like some chaos artwork here. Talking about damage. So quite a bit of info about combat here. Some more artwork. And Blessings Unheralded is the adventure. So we've got an adventure summary for the Game Master, talking about the Dark Imperium, the world of Enoch, talking about the 4 different characters, because there are 4 pre-gens in this. Then we got Act 1, Act 2, some more chaos here. There's an Act 3, Forbidden Fruits. So like many of the Ulysses North America role-playing games, as well as other role-playing games out there as well, looks like much of this action, much of the story is presented in acts. So you've got a variety of different acts. Got resolutions, threats, and then Willem Koenig. Oh, looks like a character. Looks like an NPC. So all in all here we've got 32 pages. Much of it is devoted to what appears to be combat. So quite a bit of that is devoted to combat, which doesn't surprise me. Then we've got some cutout tokens. Kind of cardstock here. So I would like to have seen them like cut so you could just punch them out, but you know, that's probably asking a little too much. So we got a bunch of different tokens here. And then we've got what appears to be our pre-generated characters. And I thought there were 4, but there might be more. Looks like we've got 5. Nope, 6. Because I thought there were 4 included in this, and then there were 2 additional pre-generated characters that you could download from the Ulysses North America website. So we have a priest here. So it looks like you'll have, looks like 2 pages for character sheets in Wrath and Glory. So we're looking at the attributes here, combat traits, mental traits, social traits, skills. I do understand that this system has kind of trimmed down a little bit on the number of skills as compared to, say, previous RPGs, say, like the series of Warhammer 40K RPGs that came out from Fantasy Flight Games. So I do believe that they have kind of consolidated a lot of different skills. We've got keywords, talents, background, gear, objectives. So I guess you might roll a 6-sided die and go with what the objective for this character is. Ascension notes, got wrath points, and then we've got a background for the character. Then we've got Commissar Victoria Lynn. I've seen this artwork quite a bit for the Commissar here. And then we've got her character sheet, as well as her background. Battle Brother Trohan. And his character sheet, as well as background. I think it's kind of cool where it's like alliances with other player characters. Because if you are not familiar with the new 8th edition, it's pretty much kind of a portion of the galaxy has been cut off from the rest of the galaxy, and it's all undiscovered, and all these different characters, all these different factions, all these different races, even enemies of the Imperium, are all kind of thrown together, and Chaos is the big villain. They're the big bads. So you'll have various different factions, various different characters who would normally not be together, thrown together in order to survive. So here we've got an Imperial Guardsman. There's the character sheets, as well as the background. And then we have a Sister of Battle. And once again, we've got the character sheet and the background. And then an Acolyte. And the character sheet and background as well. I had heard through the grapevine, not just during my interview with 3 of the 4 individuals involved with this quick start in this introductory adventure, but from people who had actually taken part in some of the introduction, I should say introductory events that were at Origins. As far as Warhammer 40K, Wrath and Glory, a lot of people were really digging it. A lot of people who weren't even big role players were really getting into the system and getting into the adventure. I think it was a different adventure than this that was being run for gamers as an introduction, once again, to Wrath and Glory. So I am looking forward to the release. I'm going to actually read through this. I have not, of course, obviously enough, I just took the shrink wrap off of this. I have not checked this out at all, but I have heard that it was pretty cool. And actually, if you think about it, there's quite a lot in here for a free RPG Day product. Because normally, as I mentioned earlier, see about maybe 12, 16 pages. This is quite a bit. This is pretty cool. So I did mention that right now this is on Drive-Thru RPG. It does carry an MSRP of $4.99. In the description, you will find a link for you to go to Drive-Thru RPG and get this absolutely free. It's going to be for a limited time. I can't tell you if it's throughout the entire month of July or not, but I can tell you that the link is working as of this moment. And, of course, you have to have an account at Drive-Thru RPG. But if you click on that link, it will give you a discount. It'll create a free download for Wrath and Glory Blessings Unheralded. So there you have it. As I mentioned before, Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory is coming out this August. I do believe there are people who have already pre-ordered. There are pre-orders available right now for the core book, as well as an all-in bundle that you can get your hands on. And it is my understanding, if you do pre-order, you will get that in your hands before Gen Con, before August 2nd. That's what a little birdie told me. I can't tell you positively if that's the case, but I do believe that if you pre-order the core book or the all-in bundle, that you will have it before folks at Gen Con. All right, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and when you're not watching any of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.